have a small story of mine. This was when I was around 7 years old. Our family went out for a walk one day. My mom, dad, and my little brother all enjoyed walking, while I wasn't still satisfied with just walking. What I meant was, my envy was to run around. I liked running since a little kid. As soon as I arrived to the park, I started to run. Before my parents could notice, I spotted a dog between the bushes. As a kid, I loved pets, but especially I loved dogs. So I ran towards it, but I knew it was a mistake. The dog was the type of dog I really hated. It had saliva all over his face, short legs, fat, and had razor-sharp teeth. So it chased me down like a hunter. I ran back, trembling in fear. My legs were trembling. I had sweat over my face and ran towards my mom and dad. As soon as I arrived, we head back home. When I arrived home, I read this book. Most of us are very familiar with this book. It is called The Very Hungry Caterpillar. I felt sad and exhausted and tired. So I tried out the book. Well, the book cheered me up. It was enjoyable and satisfying. It was a story about a caterpillar eating all sorts of stuff from pies, apples, to chocolate bars to become a butterfly. Today I'm going to talk about how to boost up your emotional intelligence by books, but not any kind of books. Harvey Chapman, an expert in novel writing education and literary fiction, describes literary fiction as a serious type of fiction. Julia Chad, a science and technology journalist, claims that reading literary fiction improves empathy. Empathy plays a big part in emotional intelligence. It helps you understand yourself and others. She published a study from MAK.org by two psychologists, Emmanuel Castro and David Kidd. They had a research study with 86 to 356 participants about the changes in emotional intelligence after reading a book. They gave them different genres of books like fiction, nonfiction, and literary fiction. After the participants finished the books, the researchers found the results startling. When they read nonfiction books, the results were unimpressive. When they read genre fiction, the results were quite normal. However, literary fiction was a capacity for empathy have expanded widely. Reading literary fiction was their fuel for empathy. So when a rocket launches, it needs all the tools and supplies, but most importantly, it needs fuel. So I think the fuel was reading literary fiction. A research article from the University of Liverpool has found that 1.3 million in the UK rarely read because of depression. Depression is both a physical and mental emotional problem. The chief of neuroendocrinology and behavior of the National Institute of Mental Health states that too much stress eventually leads to depression. However, reading can boost up your emotional intelligence by reading. Researchers at the University of Sussex has found that reading for 6 minutes, stress is reduced by 68%. A 2013 survey by the Book Trust said people who read books regularly are on average most satisfied with life, happier, and most likely to feel the things they do in life worthwhile. So reading helps your emotional intelligence after all. They increase empathy, gives you comfort, releases stress, and builds your emotional intelligence. Thank you.